Welcome to Your Biz, Your Rules, the podcast for business-minded go-getters hosted by me, your favourite brain and biz coach, Daire Paddy. This is the spot for those of you ready to blend heart and head, woo and do, income and impact, change and chill, and so much more. So grab yourself a cuppa and let's get started. Today, I am here to offer you my everyday journaling routine, let's call it. So anyone who has been following me on any platform for any amount of time will know that I am a huge journaler. I love journaling. It's how I start my day every single day of my life. And it has made such a radical impact on the way that I feel every day too. Now, I have been a journaler for most of my life, but my relationship with my journal has definitely shifted. So when I was young, I had one of those diaries with the little padlocks on, and I used to use that as a way to keep my secrets, to chronicle my days. It was very like Dear Diary style, where I would just write down everything that happened to me every day. I would write down the books that I was reading. I would write down the songs that I was obsessed with. I would write down the boys that I was obsessed with, all of that usual stuff. But as I got older, the purpose of my journaling practice really did transform. So when I was a teenager, I was dealing with some really, really tough stuff in my personal life. Like, my home environment was not what we would call nurturing. It was not particularly healthy or supportive, and I needed an outlet. I needed somebody to talk to. I needed some way to get all of the thoughts and get all of the feelings out of me so that they didn't, fester and take me over completely. And that for me is what my journal became. It became this place where I could pour everything that I was thinking, everything that I was feeling, everything that I was struggling with, everything that I was conflicted over. And it became this spot where I could work through what was going on for me. And then as I grew up into adulthood and I sort of discovered the personal development world and the online coaching world, my relationship with journaling shifted again, because while it was still this space for me to, work through what was going on for me in my life, it also became this place to facilitate growth and expansion in my world. And I'm going to talk to you about some of the techniques that I use to do that to this day. I will say before we get started that there are many, many ways to journal, and there is no correct way to journal. The only correct way to journal is the way that works for you. So please don't ever think that if you're not doing it my way, you're doing it wrong. Or if you're not doing the way that you see on Instagram or Pinterest, then you're doing it wrong. You are not. Journaling is not a performative exercise. It is not something that you do just to look good or to make something pretty. The purpose of journaling is deeper than that. The purpose of journaling is what you need to connect back to. Is it that you want a record of your life? Is it that you want to work through your own thoughts and feelings? Is it that you want to use it for manifestation or personal growth? Is it a combination of all of these things? Getting clear on that is probably going to be the most helpful thing when it comes to deciding which of these journaling techniques is really the one for you. But I'm going to share what I do. And again, another caveat I will add is that this fluctuates for me. There are some things that I do absolutely religiously every single day, come rain or shine, I will do this thing. And then there are some things that I do in certain seasons when I'm feeling a certain type of way, or I'm experiencing a certain type of thing, or working on one particular area. Then I will sort of maybe bring in different things. But I don't need to use all of them all the time, because it wouldn't be sustainable. Like, it's not realistic to have an hour every day to dedicate to journaling. Like, we have lives, we have things come up, we have other people to factor in. Like, sometimes we just have to be flexible. And when that's the case, you can choose lighter versions of the habits that you hold dear. It doesn't mean you have to abandon the thing completely, but you can do a lighter version. And let's talk about some of those. So like I said, I bounce between different types of journaling, and I have for many, many years. I've explored all different ways of doing these things. I've tried journaling apps. I've had a 5-minute journal, which is one of those ones where you literally just have a tiny little block to write a couple of sentences about the day. I've tried gratitude journals. I've tried all kinds of different things. But what I've discovered about myself is that I really love just a blank notebook and a pen. I love to be able to mix up how I'm journaling. Sometimes I want a load of blank space. Sometimes I only need a couple of lines. And so buying a, like a fancy, very prescriptive journal doesn't work for me. Like, I do not thrive when I've got lots of boxes to fill in. So that's something I know about myself. But again, you might operate very differently, and that's okay. Again, journaling works differently for different people. Now, I'm going to start by talking to you about the one thing that I do without fail every single day, and that is morning pages. We all know about morning pages at this point. Like, it's not a new thing that I'll be bringing to your attention, but for any of you who have been living under a rock and have never heard of this technique, morning pages is something that was sort of brought to the forefront by a woman named Julia Cameron in her very good and very popular book, The Artist's Way, which is like a 6-week, almost like a course that guides you through tapping back into your creativity. And she recommends writing 3 pages in a journal by hand every single morning, and having it be the first thing that you do when you wake up. So before you have conversations with anybody, before you get online, before you even think about your emails or your workday, just sitting down with a pen, with a piece of paper, and writing without censoring yourself. And this for me has been probably the biggest game changer, because it has allowed me to get to know myself. And you will always hear me saying that self-awareness is the biggest gift that you can give yourself. And I really do believe that, because when you fully know yourself, you know how to take care of yourself, you know how to operate in the most functional way, you know what you need, you know when you're like getting stuck in a particular spiral or pattern, and you can much more quickly and easily pull yourself out of it. And so morning pages for me has been that space where I really get to know myself, because when you are in those first few moments of the day, there are no filters. You're not imposing assumptions or shoulds or other people's opinions on what you are writing. It is just like a free flow. And so having that practice every single day where I do that for 3 pages, it has been transformative for me. It is where I have my biggest aha moments about my own life, my own growth, my own like inner junk that needs working on. It's where I have my very best ideas. So my best content ideas, my best program ideas, that all always comes up in my morning pages. And you might be wondering, like, do I always read back through my journals and stuff like that? No, because I journal so much. I'm looking at a shelf in my office right now that has probably about 30 filled in journals, and they're probably only from about the last year, maybe year and a half. So I don't go back and read everything, but what I do is when I have an idea that comes up in my journaling, I'll dog ear the page. So I'll fold back the corner of the page, and then it is very, very easy to just flip back through the pertinent points and pop those ideas into Asana or into my planner or wherever. And I get that the idea of morning pages can be quite daunting if it's not something that you are particularly comfortable with yet. So not everybody has that like instant connection with their inner voice. I happen to be a very wordy person who has always had like lots of thoughts, lots of words bouncing around their brain, and so it just worked really well for me immediately. But I've had many clients over the years who love the idea of it and love the promised result of doing morning pages, but the practice itself, when they sit down to do it, it's just like, oh, like how do I start? And sometimes all it takes is a little nudge, a little prompt to get the words flowing. So if that sounds like a little bit of you, if it sounds like I love the idea of the morning pages, but I know it's not gonna flow for me, then here's what I recommend you do. Get those 3 pages in front of you. On page number 1, I want you to start with the words I'm thinking. I'm thinking, and then just free flow until you've completed that page. On page number 2, I want you to start with I'm feeling. And again, whatever comes up, comes up. Don't judge it, don't censor it. Just get to the end of page number 2. And then for page number 3, I want you to start with the words I'm doing. And again, just let the words come until you finish that page. And what that does is it really pushes you to get in touch with your conscious mind and what's been going on in your thoughts, in your beliefs, in your ideas. It pushes you to get in touch with your emotional self so you can really see how the thoughts that you've been having have been impacting your feelings and your emotional state. And it then pushes you to acknowledge the action and the behavior that has been sparked by those thoughts and by those feelings. So again, with the end goal being self-awareness, this is a really great way to approach morning pages if the thought of 3 blank pages is too much for you. So that's the one that I will do every single day without fail. No matter how busy I am, no matter where I am in the world, I will do my morning pages. The rest of these things that I'm going to be sharing with you are things that I still do and I do regularly, but I don't do them all every single day. So one of those things is simply rewriting my list of goals. So whatever goals I'm working on at that time, I will just rewrite them like a bullet pointed list. And what I actually really love to do is to bring those 2 pieces together. So I'll do my morning pages, and then at the end of that, I will rewrite my list of goals. And the reason that I like to do it like that is because then the last thing that I have in my mind before I start my workday is this set of intentions that I've said are my priorities. And you can absolutely write them out at any point. So you can write them out before you do your morning pages. You can just write them out and have that be your entire journaling session. But for me, there's something slightly magical about spending some time just in my inner world, and then after that thinking, okay, what are these things that I'm aiming towards, and just getting clear on those again. And I don't have to phrase them the same way every day. It doesn't matter if those things shift and change day to day. And sometimes they do. Sometimes it's not a case of, oh, I'm like writing down my annual goals or 90-day goals again and again and again. Sometimes it might be my goal for that day, my goal for that week, my goal for that moment, but I will just finish my morning pages with that little list. It helps instill this sense of focus and purpose as you then move throughout the rest of your day. I just need to pause for a sip of water. Talking is thirsty work. Another journaling technique that I love to use is scripting. So you may have heard of this before, but scripting is essentially writing out your vision or writing out your goals as if you already have that thing. And there are a couple of different ways that you can approach this. So some people recommend like writing extensively about the vision. So you might say something like, it is the 31st of January 2023 and I'm so excited that I've just made my 10th sale in this program that I'm launching. I'm so thrilled to see every single one of these people come through the door, and I just already see the transformation they're experiencing, and that each of those have already booked like 3 new clients and so talking about your goals in the present tense like that and allowing yourself to get really excited, really emotive about it. That is something that I've tried many times, and it doesn't quite work for me in the same way as the method that I'm about to share. So I find that a little bit formulaic, and it just doesn't feel quite true for me. And your unconscious mind does not like to make you a liar. So if it genuinely does not believe what you are writing, it's not going to work as a manifestation tool. And that's why we script. It's a method of attracting what you want. So the way that I choose to do this instead is, instead of writing out like this long form vision, I will get really clear on, let's say, like a series of goal statements. And some of these things will be tangible things. So it might even be, you know, I am celebrating the 10th person joining my program, or it might be a feelings thing. So I feel completely loved and supported in my relationship, for example. So that's a very like fluffy, intangible intention, but that doesn't matter. So I will have these lists of things, and I've usually got maybe between 5 or 10 when I'm doing this, and I will write them as single sentences, so I don't go into more detail than that. And one of the reasons is I don't like to limit what I'm manifesting. I like to leave it open, because sometimes things shift. Sometimes you're so prescriptive over what you want that you miss out on something even better. So I keep it simple. And I will still write the thing in the present tense, but instead of just sort of like writing it out almost like I'm writing lines and then closing my journal, I will write out that statement, and then I will take a moment to close my eyes, to imagine, to visualize that outcome. And I will keep repeating those words over and over to myself, sometimes out loud, sometimes in my head, but I'm celebrating the 10th person signing up for my program. I'm celebrating the 10th person signing up for my program again and again and again and again, until you tap into the sensation. Because when you do that, when you can really visualize it, when you can hear the words, when you can feel the feelings, that's when things start changing for you. That's when you sort of, yes, in a law of attraction, raising your vibe kind of way, yeah. But also, you then just feel more positive, you feel more excited, you feel more magnetic as you then go about your life. So whether you believe like the manifestation technique works or not, it is still impacting your mood massively. And when you are able to go about your life feeling more excited, feeling more magnetic, feeling more positive, then you naturally get more done. You open yourself up to more opportunities, you create better relationships. Like all of these very real things start to open up in your life. Another thing that I do very, very regularly is using prompts. So I gave you a couple of prompts for morning pages, but I use prompts all of the time when I'm journaling. And the reason that I do that is it brings more focus to the journaling practice. So, you know, when we're doing morning pages, we are very much just going wherever our mind is taking us at that given time. When we are rewriting our goals or scripting, we're sort of very much looking at our goals and our vision and our dreams and end outcomes. But with prompts, we have the opportunity to explore different things, explore different challenges we might be facing, explore different things that we might need to work on, explore different ways of doing things, because you're guided, you're being given this jump start to guide what you are then going to investigate via writing. Now, you can find prompts in all kinds of different ways. You can find them on Instagram. There are loads of accounts out there that post journal prompts. There are decks of cards that are like journal prompt cards that you can buy in various places. And the way that I do it is I actually use Unshakable Journaling 365, which is like a year-long program that I created where every single day for a whole year, you unlock a new journal prompt. And these are all things that you can do again and again and again. So I've had this for, 2-3 years, and I just keep going through it, and I keep cycling through the prompts and keep cycling through the prompts and cycling through the prompts. And every time I use a prompt, something different comes up, because I'm always in a different place. I'm always in a different state. I'm always dealing with different circumstances. So even though the jumpstart is the same, the result is not. If you are interested in that, then the link is in my bio on Instagram. So you can just go and tap through and join that. It's really, really inexpensive. It's only, I think, £77 for a year's worth of journaling exercises. So if that is something that you want to investigate, definitely go ahead and click that link. And then the other thing that I do, and I'm calling this a journaling practice, even though I don't do it in my regular daily journal. I actually do this in my planner, is this little practice that just helps me alter my state right when I'm about to start my workday. So I will grab a pen and I will write down 3 things I'm grateful for, 3 things I'm excited for, 3 things I'm open to, and my 3 priorities for the day. That's it. So the reason that we do this, so 3 things I'm grateful for, this is so that I can just feel into the positive things that surround me, the abundance that already surrounds me, because it is very easy, you know, when you get to your desk, when you open your planner, to be thinking about forward momentum and what's not done yet. So if I start that exercise with thinking, this is what I already have, suddenly things don't feel as high pressure. And then when it comes to the 3 things I'm excited for, it makes me more motivated to continue throughout my day. And I've noticed that since I started doing this practice, I procrastinate way less, because before I used to just focus on the things that I was dreading. I would focus on the things that I didn't want to get to or hadn't got to yet and really should have got to, and like all of that stuff. Whereas when I'm starting my workday with, okay, 3 things I'm excited about already, I'm looking forward to different elements of my day, and it just changes the tone. And then I have so I actually told you these in the wrong order. So it's 3 gratitudes, 3 things I'm excited for, 3 priorities is next. So these are like my 3 non-negotiables for the day. So if I was going to do the bare minimum and still be content with what I'd done, what 3 things would they be? And like the reality is, most days I do more than 3 things. I do, but these are like the baseline things, so that if something goes wrong, if I don't feel well, knowing that I've done these things will make me feel like I've had a day well lived. And then last but not least, we have 3 things that I'm open to. And the reason that I include this piece is because I want to play in the realm of possibility. I don't want to restrict myself. I don't want to think, okay, I'm putting 1 thing in, so I'm only going to get 1 thing out. And that can very much be the vibe in your planner when you're thinking about the tasks that you have to do each and every day. If you're being really expansive and putting words to the possibility, then suddenly, again, you feel so much more open, you feel expansive, you feel magnetic. All things that I want to be experiencing as I go about my workday, as I'm sure you do too. So hopefully you can see just through me talking about this today that there are so many different ways for you to journal effectively and have long-lasting and tangible results from the practice. It's like I said, it's not just a box-ticking exercise. It's not just a handy self-care practice that looks good on Instagram. It is powerful and it is transformative. So what I would love for you to do today is to take one of these techniques that I've shared and test it out, try it out. Try it for a day or 2 and then come back and tell me how it went. Leave me a comment, send me a DM, let me know how it's gone for you. Let me know what you loved about it, let me know what shifted. Thank you for listening to Your Biz, Your Rules. I know that we all like to listen to podcasts, watch videos, read articles or books or posts on Facebook and not really do anything with that information. So I want to challenge you right now. I want to challenge you to take something from this episode, anything, and use it to spark action. Use it to activate some kind of change in the way you work and the way you live. Do yourself this service today and tell me all about it on Instagram. Hop over, shoot me a DM or share an Instagram story showcasing what action you are taking thanks to this episode. And of course, do all of the usual things. Subscribe, leave a review, let me know how much you love the show. and I'll be back with you next week.